Welcome to What's Your View with Oludolapo. This podcast was created as a space for real people with real life experiences that most people can relate to and learn from. Hang tight and have a great time listening.
To the next one that says conflict resolution, understanding temperamental differences. Now, I want us to understand the fact that we have different temperaments, right? And even before the temperaments, we have those who are introverted, those who are extroverted. We have the sanguine, phlegmatic, melancholy, and there's another one which I can't remember at the moment, right? But we have choleric here. So we have 4 temperaments. And I think the first time I saw that was in Tim Lai's Why You Behave the Way You Do. So what we'll be talking about basically now is conflict resolution in regards to our temperament, right? Conflict will happen whether you like it or not. As long as you are staying with someone or you are interacting with people, there will be conflict one way or the other. Now, how do we manage this based on our temperament differences? Do you understand? All right, so first of all, we'll be starting with Kuchwale, and they will be sharing with us how to handle conflict resolution, right? How to handle conflict, right? Conflict resolution in the office space and in friendship. Yeah. Understanding temperamental differences.
Okay. Wow, awesome. Okay. How do I handle conflicts in the workplace and also possibly in friendship? I want to say that first, I need to understand. I need to come from the understanding that conflict is inevitable. There is nothing that you can do to avoid conflict. If you try to avoid conflict, you are actually living a fake life, or you are living a life that is not there. We are people of different opinions, ideals, and ideas. So, and at a point, because people don't conflict themselves, we actually have conflict of ideas, ideals, and philosophy. So, that's the first thing. The second thing is the fact that for me to handle conflicts, either at the workplace or at any level, I need to have what I personally call the conflict skill. Yes, you have to be very skillful when it comes to how you handle conflicts. And they are basically, I don't want to talk theoretical, I don't want to, but they are basically three skills that really. The first, I will use the word of psychology. The first is cognitive skill. And the reason for this is because your response and behavior at every time starts from your thinking. It starts from the way you think. If Fumi decide to tell me that, Mr. Wale, I don't think, for example, it has happened to me. I don't want to mention the name of the school, but it's quite a respected school, not far from here. And I was there speaking with a teacher, and one of the children came and opened the book. The teacher that I was talking to is their further mathematics teacher. And he said, sir, you did not mark this note sensibly. Yes, I'm telling you, in my presence. In my presence, yes. Yes. And at that point, I remember, because I was there.
You're the coach for that school.
I was there to work with some children in the school. So as at the point of me actually trying to correct that statement, it was the teacher that told me, Oga, they will send you out. Just leave him alone. I said, no. I remember talking to the principal of the school. The principal is a Ghanaian. And I was talking to him. I said, this is not okay. However, I use that because I'm painting a scenario. Yeah. If Fumi tells me that Mr. Wale, I saw what you did not do it sensibly. The reason why you said was because you thought about it. The first thing that comes to us when an information or a statement or something, the first thing, for example, let me assume that this is a board meeting. I gave an idea. Somebody beside me quickly, it cannot work. You know what happened? There's nothing bad about it cannot work. But something about me tells me that is she the one that's supposed to say that? That's where conflict becomes escalated. So cognitive skill, your ability to bring yourself out of your thoughts and to be able to say that, see, this is what is going on. Also, the end product of our cognitive skill is interpretation. Why? Because your emotional skill is the next thing, but your interpretation will always lead to your emotion. So I use this scenario. You have a 50-year-old lady that has a, and you have another 25-year-old lady that has a. Which one would be attractive? Why?
Depends on the size.
Why is the 50-year-old woman not attractive? Thank you. You have a perfect interpretation more than just what you are seeing. So that interpretation affected your emotion. So many times when you are trying to work on conflict, you hear some people say, in your life, don't ever. The problem is that it started from their thinking. This was what they did last time. Then the product of that thinking led to interpretation. He's trying to rub on you. He's trying to claim that he has. So that rushes into your emotional states. That's why you see some people overreact. So when we tell people that control your emotion, let me tell you, the truth about it is it's because of their interpretation. What this means. So I told my wife this thing one day. I said, when I met you, I think I called you my friend. Said yes. Do you know why? Because before that time, if my wife says something, I said, why will you be talking to me like that? I'm your husband. You are not supposed to be talking the way you are talking. So I came to the understanding that, but when you met her, when you guys were friends, she will sometimes call you and say, you know, when she says that, I laugh. It doesn't get at me. Why? Because she's my friend. Until I got married, and then something now came on me again to say, now, the hierarchy. The interpretation now is that you are the husband, she's the wife. So I said, so what's the difference between us when we were friends and now that we are married? I said, the difference is because now you are husband. Have you? Listen, so when we talk about emotional skill or handling conflict, you have to come from that angle. I don't understand how some men, you people, you talk at yourself anyhow outside as friend, and then you get home and your wife says something, and the next thing is you are up there. Do you know why? Because it's the interpretation. The minute you interpret it as being less, as being, you are not supposed to say that, it rushes down to the emotion. I think I'm talking too much. Let me give it to
Okay. For me, I think conflict resolution starts from the moment you guys are having the issues, right? You try, to me, you try as much, you try not to make things worse in a way that you won't be able to resolve it after the issues. I don't know if you guys are getting me. So yeah, try not to say things that would now even make the first issues ahead. So conflict resolution starts from that point, right? And then try to walk away. That's very important too. So I don't know if I should share this, but something happened recently at work. This guy is one loud guy that would always come and say things to anybody, and then he's playing and be joking. He's one funny guy, use personal issues. Yes, to abuse or insult or make jokes. And then that day I was like, please, don't use me as an example. And then he got angry. I was like, wait, I don't get why you're angry at my own feelings. I don't like this. And then he got angry and then was like, he was talking there, like, I won't talk to Fumi again. I won't do this. I noticed that she's always this, she's that. I'm like, To be honest, I wanted to reply him. Like, I wanted to, no, you don't, but where I was, like, is he shaking or shivering? I was actually, my heart was like, oh, Fumi, just calm down. So, if I had actually responded, so believe me, that guy would have made the whole thing worse, because he is more of a, he would have told everybody, and then he won't say it the way it happened. He won't say it that way, because even me, he was saying it that anytime I do this, for me is always, I'm like, what are you saying? He's saying, and I was like, no, just, so, so that way, I tried to, me not responding actually made it calm the whole thing. Now after 1 week we didn't talk. I didn't talk to him, so I'll just greet him. After 1 week by himself, something that was pinching, he just came, okay. So so that's it. So just walk away and not go and react in a way that the whole thing would not even be worse. Like, because if I had reacted, there no way would have, because I would have said more than I should have said. Yes, so that's it.
Okay. It's been a while. Stop now. So first, I think I had to come to the understanding that people perceive and respond to even the same situations differently. So everyone has that. They're responding to a situation happens, and everyone will just respond to it differently. So I had to understand, because it takes understanding where they are coming from to actively be able to just know whether to. It takes just understanding where they're coming from just to be able to understand how to actually react to it. So, a scenario, right? We're all doing that. So, I have a friend, and I'm going to just speak from like the friendship angle, right? So, I have a friend. Something happened. It was something very minor. It was, she said she was leaving. She came to visit me. Then she said she was leaving. Then I said, okay, bye. Then she left. Then she was angry because I did not escort her. This wasn't her first time of coming. She stays over, so she has literally almost become like a part of the family. So in my head, okay, bye, you know your way out. In fact, if you can lock the door from behind, please do, because I don't want to leave this bed. Then like the next day, I got like a long message. It was like a breakup message, and in my head, I'm trying to... Okay. Because when I even got the message, I was laughing. And in my head, it felt like a prank. I was feeling like, okay, maybe there's a camera somewhere, because this cannot be happening. Then, like, it just did not make sense. And I, like, tried to call when I got to my destination. I tried to call, like, hi, what's up? I got your message. What's going on? Then, like, the reaction, it was like an attack. Like, some people, you know how people would just take, like, whether it's a criticism or anything, they take it like an entire attack of their entirety. So it's like, hi, what's up? It's like, like the attack was just, hi, this is what's happening. And so I ended the call. Then when I got back home, I had to go see her, have conversations with her. But like, it wasn't heading anywhere because the anger was just there. So it wasn't till like we had like a sit down conversation, then I realized where she was coming from. She felt like, we had like gaps because we hadn't spoken from a while, because everyone had been busy. So she felt like she was putting in more, coming to see me, and like So like in that moment, it was like, she had to be fair and to be very truthful. Even with that, I understood it, but because of all the circumstances surrounding, I'm like, even though, the way you reacted to, it wasn't so great. But like, I got it. I eventually got it. Someone like me, I don't count those things like, you're coming and you tell me bye. In fact, you to buy now. Like, I don't count.
Put it on my head.
At all. Like, I don't count those things as anything. So like, I personally think that you have to actually, it takes understanding, know where they are coming from. I have friends that I know that they are so, I don't know if saying touchy feelings would be insensitive, but I know that a little thing can just trigger anything. So like, it's not like I'm walking on eggshells, but like, I know that I am here, I'm coming to your house, I'm coming with my apology in my pocket. So any small thing, like, I'm sorry. So like that. And you know, people that are like me, that we really didn't care. So it's like, I'm like, but what you did there? I say, sorry, I did not know. And like that, it finished. We move on. So like, I just feel you need to understand where they are coming from to be able to actively. So yeah, of course.
All right, so I think just to buttress what she has said, then I'll talk about the professional setting. In friendship, you try not to invalidate the other person's feelings. Because something is not annoying to you, does not mean it's not going to be annoying to me. I tell my friends that every day. I am one of the most carefree person you can meet. I am very carefree. I grew up in a very, very funny environment where we'll sit down outside and be insulting ourselves. I don't know if you know this. We'll sit down outside. You will come from your house. We used to call it messing. We'll sit down, we'll mess ourselves when we were younger. We'll be abusing your father, kuli attack your village. Nobody, they would say hurtful things to you. And then when I left that place, I went to the boarding house. And I was the runt of the elite. I was very tiny. So I have heard there's nothing you want to say to me that is seemingly new, right? It's not ideal, but I had to grow up. And then when I got to the university, I was still the smallest. So even now, I am still I grew up in that kind of environment. So as friends, there's nothing you can do. The highest I'll tell you is, guy, say the man. That's when you do not try with me again, ever. Finish.
That's a guy to guy.
Even babe. Worst case scenario is if I notice that I will just carry my phone, just archive you. Finish. I don't have time to be following you to be dragging anything. But there are people that are touchy, very sensitive. Now, when you are dealing with this kind of people, when they say something, don't say, is that it? Don't do it. Don't do it. When they tell you, this is how you've offended me, this is what you've done that has hurt me, don't say, is that why you are now shouting? Is that why you are not picking my calls? It's not up to that. It's not a big deal. Don't say those things. It's a big deal to them. It's a very big deal. For example, I can call you, I don't reply my chats, I don't pick my calls. People that are close to me, they have accepted it as a cross. If you want to get to me urgently, message me on WhatsApp. If you message me on WhatsApp, there's a high percentage that will reply you immediately than if you call me. Why? Because I worked in an environment where anytime they call you, something bad has happened. So coming from that place, I had developed a kind of negative attitude towards calls. I hate phone calls. It destabilizes me. So my phone, even right now, my phone is on vibration. It's on do not disturb. I don't want to see your calls. I don't want to see it. So, I have plenty missed calls already. But I'm dating somebody who, if she calls you twice and you don't pick, she will not call you again until you call her. She will not call you again until you call her. At first, I used to be like, guy, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. But later I got to understand that if it is important to this person, just try to make it important to you. Right? But in the workplace, there are three kinds of people you can have conflicts with. Either people above you, people on your level, or people below you. Now, when it is somebody below you, you have flexibility. You have flexibility in the fact that you can choose to ignore it.
Yes. When you're at fault?
No. I'm talking about conflicts. I'm not talking about... when I say conflicts, I'm talking about when there's a difference in opinion.
Okay.
I'm not talking about when there's a personal issue. I'm talking about when there's a difference in opinion. When I have an opinion and you don't have an opinion, and you have an opinion and our opinions cannot merge, and you are my subordinate, you don't have a choice. You go with what I have said. I don't need to come and be explaining it to you. Even in the private sector, this is what we are doing. Sometimes a boss is a boss. They don't want to discuss it with you. And it has to. My boss told me something. I said, sir, this thing cannot work. He said, if it doesn't work, I'm going to fire you. It has to work. Find a way to make it work. That is why he's my boss, right? I'm below him. If it is somebody on your level, the first thing you should avoid is to avoid addressing it in a way that would embarrass them, right? When it is somebody on your level, try to approach it in a way that would not embarrass them, and also try to give them the opportunity to explain why they feel how they feel. In that scenario, if you are the one initiating the resolution, it means you have to be the one to listen, right? You allow them say, then you respond. If they are the one initiating the resolution, you speak, then you also listen. Do you understand? Make sure that it's a two-way thing. If it is somebody above you, the first thing you do when you want to resolve conflict with somebody above you is you take responsibility for everything you can take responsibility for in that scenario. Everything. Fine. We're having a meeting and my boss said this, and I raised up my hand and I would not do it. But let's assume I make a mistake and I do it because I don't know better, right? But I will not do it because I know better. But then I noticed that the minute I said that thing, my boss looked at me and he didn't say anything again. And then after then I went to say, Oga. And he just said, don't worry. Oga, I've sent you this mail. Don't worry. Oga, I'm waiting for this document. Don't worry.
That was the beginning of the end.
If you are smart, you know that there's a problem.
Yeah.
You can't hide away from it. What you do is you go to him. Now, one thing we need to overcome in the office space is the fear of talking to people in their office. There's nothing behind that desk. The fact that, when somebody sits behind the desk, they look powerful. Let me tell you, the way Dolakwa is sitting behind this desk, psychologically, it looks more powerful than we do. That's why, I'm serious, that's why there's always a big desk. That's the purpose of a desk.
Even when
there's nothing on the desk. That's why when people want you to feel intimidated, they have a minimalistic office. They have a big desk. So when you see that desk, you think, this man is busy. Then there are files that they will not open in the next 5 months. They have it on their desks. The shelf, books that they will not read, they have it in there. Psychologically, they are trying to make you believe that I am in charge. So don't be afraid of entering people's office. And when you enter somebody's office to resolve a conflict, please be as eloquent, be as articulate as possible.
Yeah, but sometimes the kind of fear that will grip your neck when you're talking.
You must overcome it. Because the minute you are trying to resolve that conflict and you sound shaky, you've given them an opportunity to exploit you. Don't let them take that conflict resolution for weakness. Don't let them take an advantage of that. They can begin to exploit you, send you things that are not in your job description. You get? And that's the beginning of trouble for you. When they start sending you to go and buy fuel, to go and buy amala. So when you are trying to resolve that conflict, don't go out of it. Be articulate, be eloquent, and take all the responsibility that you can.
That's really a big thing. You have to take responsibility.
Sorry, in kind of continuation to what he said, relating with superiors, there was one thing I noticed during my service here. I was in Nigerian Christian Fellowship, and then they called us for interviews to make us executives. And first day I got there, I was really nervous. My default setting is not to talk in public. Yeah. And there was one time I noticed from my drama group in university, I noticed that I talk to everybody, right? I play with everybody, talk to everybody, joke with them. And then the one day I decided to say something to everybody at once. And I was like, announcement, can I have your attention? And everybody looked. I almost fell. I had to drag a chair, tell them, let me calm down, don't look at me, and all those things. So now when I went for that interview, during the fellowship interview, I was really nervous. And they picked on it, and I noticed they're throwing questions. This one is asking, this one is asking, this one is asking, this one is asking. And a lot of people were asking me. And at some point, I started bouncing my hand. They were like, sorry, you can't bounce your hand. I started bouncing my leg. They were like, you can't do that either. So I'm like, okay. I can't be the one on the hot seat. I can't continue taking the tension you people are giving. So here's what I did. I focused on just one person. That was even the general secretary, directly in front of me.
So
I focused.
Temperamental differences, right?
No, I'm my builder for the conflict resolution.
Okay.
I focused on one person, and for every question they asked me, I kept on looking at this person till it got to a point that person got really uncomfortable. And it was more like I was drawing my strength from that person.
So that's the meaning.
Because at some point, people were like, you look at us when we're asking you questions. You look at us when... But I was focused on... Funny thing was, that person, the general secretary, is like the second in command in the hierarchy. He didn't ask a single question because he felt like he was the one on hot seat.
You were pulling the energy.
So now, bringing it to the workplace. Bringing it to the workplace. In cases where I feel like you're trying to boss for things that might not be so cool, for things that might be wrong, what I now started doing was, I won't say a word. I keep on looking at you. Okay. But I give you that state that you know that I'm not okay with this. Even if I can't tell you straight out that this thing doesn't add up, you know from my expression that it doesn't add up. So it's either you backtrack, or I do what you want, But I get my own facts right that in case the trouble comes out from this thing, whoever both of us superior is would understand that it wasn't my fault, without me saying it wasn't my fault, I didn't do it. Recently, my boss gave me something to do, and I wasn't so cool with it. But I kept on doing it, and he kept on returning it, that do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. And at one point, I took it to him with straight face because I was pissed. But I can't yell at you. I can't tell you I'm angry. I can't tell you I'm not okay. If that's something I could do to someone that is close to my level, right? And at some point, he was like, but Fumi, why are you doing like this? It is when you don't want to do things, you act this way. So you know. Now, in cases where maybe you are wrong, or when it comes to... Yeah.
I will make you do it.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would do it. That's what I said. When I do it, I will get my facts right, that if this thing should come back and implicate me, I would be able to present something that, okay, this is my working. So even if this is the final whatever, you should know that in my defense, I tried my best to make it go the right way, even if it went this way. And then I had to be a part of it because I can't tell my boss no, that kind of thing, right? So I did it that way. Now, in talking to conflict resolution from a third party point of view, it's easy to tell people because now if you tell me, okay, this happened between you and somebody else, I try to make you see it from the other person's point of view. You might be right, but look at it this way. The person did these things for these particular reasons. Try and understand. But now, in my own point of view, dealing with other people, you don't deal with them based on your temperament. You deal with them based on their temperament. This person is loud. You don't go loud because when you want to talk, you pedal softly. Both of you can be the loud ones. You find the balance between that person's temperament and your reply so that you don't aggravate things, so that things, at least, even if you guys don't get to that friendship point of view, you get to that flat line, you get to that middle point of, okay, we can be civil, because you will not now hold it against me that Yoruba will say, sorry I put in Yoruba words, so that you are right don't end up being the wrong person. You find that way to play it or to place it, that at least even if you're not friends, you're civil.
If you want to, at the friendship level or at the workplace level, I feel that at the workplace level, it's very easy. It's easier to resolve conflict when you have it with your peers and subordinates than when you want to resolve conflict with the boss. That one is on another game on its level, and that was why I was reiterating responsibility. You just have to take responsibility. You are not playing victim when you take responsibility, but you need to understand that power is power, and where power lies matters when it comes to conflict resolution. You are going to work with people that have serious ego, and in fact, don't let me just go into those, because the more the ego, the more difficult it is to resolve conflict. Conflict is easier in the presence of ego and is difficult to resolve in that presence. So at that level, you just have to be the one that you are going to say that I take responsibility. Whatever it is my responsibility, and then so that we can move on. Like, let me follow her. Like what Yoruba some say, so that he will allow us to go. Call madman my husband. Sorry, I don't even understand.
Thank you for listening to What's Your View with Oludolapo. Trust you had a great time listening. Feel free to share, like, and leave a comment. You could also reach out to us on Instagram at What's Your View with _Oludolapo. Thank you once again for listening.